Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to Oracle Fusion Technical Training by UnoGeeks. In this video, we'll see how to load journals into ERP Cloud using FPDA process. FPDA stands for File-Based Data Import, and it is one of the very popular data load options that you normally use to do a bulk data upload into FSCM modules, financials, and supply chain management modules. And let's try to understand how the FPDA process works, or rather how you can use FPDA to load data into ERP Cloud. And we'll take journals as a use case. Okay, so in this video, we're going to see how to load journals into ERP Cloud using FPDA process. And these are the steps that you need to execute to load the data into GL Cloud using FPDA. So the first thing you need to know is you have to download the FPDA template depending on the entity that you want to load. So what Oracle did is it has given FPDA templates for the transactional data load as well as a master data load. So you have FPDA templates to load a master data such as items, suppliers, customers, and you also have got FPDA templates which will help you to load transactions into FSCM modules like AR invoices, AP invoices, or purchase orders. So the first thing you need to do is you need to download the data template. You could just go to Google and type in FPDA journals template, or you could use the URL that I've given here. And then in that template, it will be basically an Excel template that you download. And in that Excel sheet, you have to fill in the data that the client has provided you. And then you have to generate a zip file. And after this, we're going to execute them in a moment. After the zip file is ready, we will run a common loader job. So it will be a two-step process. First, we need to load the data from file into interface tables. And to achieve that, we need to run common loader job. And the name of the ESS job is load interface file for import. And this job, it is the same job that you run, irrespective of the data entity that you're trying to load. Whether you're loading journals or customers, it doesn't matter. You will still run the same loader job. And since it is a common loader job, in one way or the other, you have to let it know what is it that you're trying to import. So is it a journal, or is it a customer? So it basically takes in two parameters, and one of them is an import job name, from which this job will identify what is it that you're trying to import, and the second parameter is, of course, the file that you want to import. And the file that you want to import, you get a file picker option, and you can pick up the file that is there in your local drive. And when you kick off this loader job, there will be two jobs that get kicked off. First, it will kick off the transfer file job, and this job, all it does is it picks up the data file from your local drive and it uploads it to UCM. Okay, in case you don't know UCM, it is a content server, or it stands for Universal Content Management. It is basically a content server that comes along with a ERP Cloud instance. And anything you want to bring into ERP Cloud, or anything you want to extract from ERP Cloud and share it with other downstream systems, you will be using this UCM to exchange the files. So I want to bring in the file. So this transfer file job, it will pick up the file from my local drive, from my D drive, and it will upload it to UCM. So that the actual load file to interface job, so this gets triggered automatically after the transfer file completes. And this job will pick up the file that is uploaded to UCM, and it dumps the data from that file into the interface tables. So in the case of journals, the data gets populated into GL interface table. And that is only like half job done, right? I prepared the data file, but the data is stuck in interface table. Then I need to run the import journals job. I need to run the import job so that it picks up the data from interface table and loads it into the base tables. And that will be the final step. So you have to run the import job. And the import job that you run, again, varies from entity to entity. If it is journals that you are importing, you will be running import journals job. If it is AR invoice, you will be running import auto invoice job. Okay, and you run the import job, and once it is complete, you can validate the data that is loaded in the application. And let's quickly execute these steps but to see how exactly we can perform the FPDA load hands-on. Okay, so I go to Google and I'll type in FPDA journal import template. Go to the first link. Go to latest release. Pick up the general ledger. In this particular link, you will see all the FPDA templates, file-based data import templates given by Oracle for financials. If you are interested in SCM, you could go to SCM part. But yeah, you've got templates that will help you to load customers or payable transactions, receivable transactions. So you have plenty of them. Please look at the URL. And I want to import journals. And if you look at GL itself, you've got quite a few FPDA templates that you could import exchange rates, you can import account combinations, and you will typically use FPDA whenever you have to do a bulk import, meaning if you have say 50,000 journals to import in one go, in such cases you will be using FPDI. So click on journal import. You will have an Excel template there. Download it, open the template, enable editing, enable content. And in the FPDA template, if you look at it, any FPDA template, the first sheet will be reserved for instructions and CSV generation. So any FPDA template you download, the first sheet will have the instructions about that particular FPDA data load. So you absolutely need not worry if it is a first time that you are importing the journals. So you might not even know the know the interface name, and you might not know the process that you need to follow. Okay, so if you don't know anything about FPDI or journals, if you just blindly follow what is given in the first sheet, you will be able to complete the load. And that is what I'm basically explaining in this video. Okay, and apart from the first sheet, you will have data tabs, and the number of sheets that you have in the FPDA template depends on the number of interface tables you have for that particular entity. Journals has only one interface table, GL interface. So that's why you're seeing only one tab. But if you take the case of say AP invoices, you have AP invoice headers and AP invoice lines. So you will see two tabs in there, invoice headers and invoice lines. And within each sheet, within the data tab, again, you have a header row, and you will have enough information available in there. You have the column name, whether it is mandatory or not, and into what column will the data be inserted into, and what are the valid values in some cases. Okay, so you have all the details available in there. And to make your life easy as a technical consultant, Oracle do give you some sample data rows as well, so that you could get an idea as to what values you need to fill in that particular column. Okay, so you can go through it if you want, but I'll take out these sample data rows that Oracle has given. I will take all of them off, delete, and I have a sample sheet. I have sample data file. I'll copy the data from here. I'll copy 4 rows and I'll paste it in here. And if you see here, I'm trying to create a couple of journals, and I'm trying to load them into US primary ledger, into June accounting period. So this period, I think we probably might have to change this because that period might not be open. So we'll change this to 03 and yeah, March 21. And let me update this in the data file. Okay. And I'm trying to create the journals with a seeded journal source and category called other, USD currency. Journal creation date, you could change it to today's date if you want. Yeah, you can say 2021 04, and it's 24th April. Copy and paste it. And you have to mention the code combination for each line. Yeah, you could see that for debit lines, I've used an account of 15925, and for credit, I've used 63553 as an account number. And scroll to the right. And you see, I'm trying to create 2 journals, and the first journal has 2 lines, debit and credit line of amount hundreds, and the second journal has debit and credit amounts of amount 50. And yeah, I'm giving a unique name to it. So you can mention a batch name and the journal name. So since you're populating only the journal lines information, in some way you need to let import journals know how many journals it needs to create, or under what journal a particular line needs to be included. So import journals takes the decision by looking at the journal entry name. So import journals looks at the reference for, and it creates, it could see two journals in there. So it will create first journal, and it will include the first two lines in the first journal, FPDA header 1. And the second, the next set of lines 3 and 4, it will create a second journal, and it will include those two lines under FPDA header 2. But these two journals, for all the 4 lines, we have given a same batch. So these two journals, so you'll have 4 lines created, 2 journals with 2 lines each, and those 2 journals will be included as part of a single batch itself. Okay, so if you scroll to the right, there's one more field that I want to talk about. You have something called as group ID. This is also called as batch ID. So you could use this to restrict import journals here to pick up only the records that you are inserting now. So I can probably use, I can use any number here. So to keep it simple, I'll use 4 nines. And I hope I don't have this batch ID in the interface table, but that's okay. Let's see. And at the end, you have an accounting period as well. I believe we need to edit that. So instead of 0620, we have to change this to 0321. That's it. So the data file is ready. So this is how you prepare an FPDA data file. And in real time, you won't be handcrafting the data file. Instead, you get it from the client. So you will pass on this FPDA sheet to the client, and you ask them to provide the data in this particular format. Okay, so you place the data that you have received from client into this sheet, and after that, you go to the first tab, and you click on generate CSV file. And when you do that, it'll ask you to select the folder where you want the data file to be placed. So to do that, let's create a folder here. Let me call it FPDI. And let's place the file that is generated in this particular folder. Generate CSV file. I'll place it in that directory. And it'll ask you to enter the folder name again. Just leave it blank and click OK. And you will notice that zip file has been generated, and inside the zip file you have a CSV file. So whatever data you entered in this Excel sheet, that has been converted into a comma separated values file or CSV file. And this CSV file is included as part of a zip file. And now I want to load this file. So what do I need to do? All I have to do is log into the application, and I've already logged into ERP Cloud application as a fin_IMPL user. And I need to run the loader job first. So to run the loader job, you have to go to tools, go to schedule process, schedule a new process, and you select the load interface file for process. Load interface file job, search for it. You can do a pattern search, type in the loader job partially and do a tab out. Okay, you could see the job name. This is a common loader that you will use for all the FPDA jobs, whether it is journals or customers or invoices. You need to select the import process. So this import process is a way of letting this loader know what is it that you're trying to import. It usually takes a bit of time here for it to pull the import jobs. Let's give it a minute. Search for the import jobs. You can search for import journals job. That's a seeded job that you run to import journals. Select the import process. And then you need to upload the data file here. You click on the drop down, upload a new file, choose, and you can select the file that you have prepared. And once you do that, you click OK. Click on submit. You get a process ID, and the loader wrapper job is triggered now. And the loader job that you have kicked off, it will kick off two child jobs now. The first one is a transfer file job, which will pick up the file from the local drive and it'll upload it to UCM. And then it kicks off, and then a second job gets kicked off, which is the actual loader. Okay, the wrapper job is running at the moment. Okay, and it triggered the transfer file job. This job would have uploaded the data file from local drive to UCM, and then you will see a loader job getting kicked off now, load file to interface. Yeah, so this is the actual loader job, and this, if you look at the log file of this, it will tell you how many records were there and were they successfully inserted in the interface table, yes or no. So you click on the log file, open it, and you scroll down, and you could see that there were 4 rows in the file and all of them were successfully inserted. Okay, and then you need to run the import job now. Run the import journals job. Click OK. And you need to select the parameters. Yes, I'm trying to import journals into US primary ledger. Select a data access it as US primary ledger, and you need to pick up the group ID that you have used. So we have inserted records with 4 nines, and I'm picking that group ID and I'm submitting the import journals job. So this job will pick up the data from the interface table. So 4 records would have been inserted into GL interface table, and those records will be picked up and they will be processed now. And if you want to query the journals interface table, you could have probably done it by creating a data model. So if you don't know how to create a data model, in one of the video I've shown you how to build a BIP report. You can refer that video. So the import journals job, it has kicked off a child job now. And this child job will create the journal. And if you look at the log, the output file, you will have the details about the journal that is created. Okay, import journals child job succeeded. Click on the text file. And you see this status, load status, the group ID, it was successful, 4 lines created, 2 journals, and all of them are included under a single batch. And you see a batch name that is created. Copy the batch name, and from the application, yeah, you log into eAPI Cloud application, go back to home page, and you can go to general accounting work area, journals, and you can query the journal and see the journal that is loaded. Not a journal, journals. Yeah. Click on manage journals, and you can search with the batch name. Take out the accounting period, enter the batch name, and search for it. You could see that there are 2 journals created for a single batch. You click on it, that opens the batch, and it's loaded into a 0321 period. So if you look at the details with which the journal is created, they should exactly match with what you have passed in FPDA data file. A single batch created, there are 2 headers that have been created, header 1 and header 2. And if you look at header 1, if you scroll down again, you see 2 lines in there with the debit and credit amounts as 100. If you go to header 2, you see the debit and credit lines are created with amounts as 50. Okay, so this is how simple it is to create or to load data into eAPI Cloud, especially the bulk data load using FPDA process. But very often, when you load a file that is given by client, it will run into issues, and you are more likely to encounter errors rather than the HAP path that we have seen in this video. Okay, so you load a file, not every day the file goes through without any errors, right? It doesn't happen quite frequently. Many a time you will have a file ending in errors. And in the next video, I don't want to make this too big. In the next video, I'll show you how to handle FPGA process or FPGA errors that you encounter during the process effectively using 3 different options. Okay, you could deal with FPGA errors using three different ways, and we'll talk about them in the next video. Please join me there. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. In case you're interested in Oracle Fusion technical training offered by UnoGeeks, please call us on this number or send a WhatsApp message. Thank you.